Hello, this is SJ Talks in Life coming back at you with another video. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please, and thank you. Um, I look at a lot of no, I don't look at a lot, but I look at there's content creators here on YouTube that are child free content creators, and they talk about young ladies talking about they don't want children. They're making the conscious decision to not have children and the reasons why. And I just find that commentary very interesting. Um, and um, More and more women, particularly black women, I mainly want to talk about center in on child free. Now, before I go any further, let me tell you the difference between childless. There's a difference between being childless and child free. Being childless means that you desire due to circumstances, you don't have a child, whether it's you didn't find your ideal mate, or you having some type of fertility issues, or whatever. Circumstances is the reason why you don't have children. Um, that's childless. You desire to have children, but because of your circumstances, you don't have any children. That's childless. Child free is a lady that's a woman that's making a conscious decision to not bear children. She doesn't want any children. She doesn't have any desire to have any children. And she's making a conscious decision to not have any children, not give birth. She doesn't want to have any children. So that's the difference. And I think people get the child-free community has to go out of their way and clarify that, because there's a difference between being childless and child-free. It's not one and the same. So, because child-free women don't want children, childless women do desire to have a child, but because of their circumstances, they don't have a child. So that's the difference. So just to clarify that. But I want to particularly talk about child free, not childless, but child free black women. Child free black women that have made, because contrary to what people want to believe, there are lots of black women out here that there's actually a lot of black women out here that don't have any children. Okay? There's lots of black women that don't have children. Some of them are childless, some of them are child free. Okay? Because people can't seem to stop bashing black single mothers. That's all people are ever focused on in the black community is black single mothers. People just can't seem to stop bashing us. Okay, they can't seem to stop bashing us, and so much emphasis and focus is always put on the black single mothers, and people have the tendency to judge us as a whole. So people don't really take the time to think about the percentage that there are quite a few black women that don't have any children out here. But so much emphasis and focus is always put on single black mothers. They don't think about the many black women out here that don't have children, because there's quite a few. I know black women. I have black women in my family that don't have any children. Okay, and some of them are childless, but some of them are child free. Now I want to talk about the child free black women. The child free black women that um, say they don't want to have children. They have no desire to have children. They have no desire to give birth to children. And what I don't, some of the things that they say, because I look at their it's one on here. Her name is Sovereign Woman. I really love her content, and some of the comments that they make, I get annoyed. I have 2 children myself, and I get annoyed sometimes of some of the comments that they make to childless and child free, particularly black women, because telling, when they find out a black woman is child free, first of all, why are people calling them selfish? They're not selfish. I hate that. I get really irritated. I have two children. I don't have two children. I have two, they're not children anymore. I have two sons. But I really get irritated when people tell child free or childless black women that they're selfish. I really get irritated at that. First of all, making a decision that you don't want to have children is not selfish. It is not selfish. I don't know why people consider that selfish. It is not selfish. If a person don't want to have children, then I highly recommend that they don't have them. There are people out here that have children that did not want them, and then they wind up unaliving them. They wind up abusing them. The problem with abusing children is that you're having the abused children turn into broken adults. Broken adults wind up continuing the cycle. 9 times out of 10, they wind up continuing the cycle. So we don't want to. That's the problem with children being abused, because they wind up turning into broken adults. And so, if a person doesn't want to have children, that's not selfish to me. That is not selfish. I think it's very responsible for people to not bring forth children if they don't want them, because there are people out here that have children. They don't want them because they unalive them, they abuse them, and they neglect them and mistreat them. So if a person, that's not selfish to me. I think that's very, very responsible. I think that's the most responsible decision that someone can make, to say and the most honest decision. And I have the utmost respect for a person to say, I don't want children, and they don't bring the children here, and it's, to me, it's responsible. It's because some of these people, they have these children for whatever reason, and they mistreat them, they abuse them, they unalive them. But I think that's very responsible to say, hey, I don't want children, and they do whatever they can to keep from bringing forth children. They prevent it. So that's not being selfish. And so I'm tired of people saying that about people, black women that don't have kids. And another point that I wanted to make is, because people have something to say. Like I said, black women get bashed no matter what we do. But people have something to say about child-free black women that don't have any children. But the minute if a child-free black woman was to give birth to a child and somehow became a single mother, then she's going to get bashed for being a single mother. Instead of being commended, instead of the person commending them and saying, that's good that you don't have any children, because there's black single mothers get bashed really bad. Like I said, I have 2 adult sons, and I still get bashed. At both of my sons, my oldest son will be 35 this year, and I still get bashed for being a single mother. Okay, so why would you shame a child-free or childless black woman? Well, I'll say child-free and childless black woman. A childless and child-free black woman, why would you shame them? Why would you? Because you know that if they were a single mother, that they would be getting bashed for that. They would be getting bashed for being a single mother. So that's what irks me. That's what really irritates me. Is that if for some reason, and it doesn't matter how we became a single mother, she could have been married, or she could have been married and got a divorce, or her husband passed, or she could have had her mate could have passed. It doesn't matter what reason the black woman became a single mother, because everybody's situation is different. It doesn't matter. It could have been a failed long-term relationship, could have been a long-term relationship that somehow didn't work out after the children got here. Everybody's circumstances is different. It doesn't matter. With black women, it doesn't matter what the circumstances is. Black women still get bashed for being single parents. If you're bashing black women for bringing children into the world, why in the world would you wanna cast judgment, place judgment on a black woman that don't have any children at all? Why would you want to place judgment on a black woman that don't have any children at all when there's so much stigma? Because I do believe that there's a stigma. There's so much stigma and horrible stereotypes that's associated with being a black single mother. Okay, why in the world would you want to shame a black woman, a childless or a child-free black woman, into because she doesn't have any children? Because if she at some point had a child and winded up becoming a single parent, then she would get bashed for being a single mother. And so I just get, it's just certain things that when it comes to that, I get offended by. Because I respect the decision for somebody to say, okay, well, or even a childless black woman, if she doesn't want to have a child outside of marriage and she's waiting for a suitable marriage mate, I take my hat off to her. I take my hat off to them. I have the utmost respect for them. You know, and I have the respect for somebody that don't bring a child here. If you don't want them, don't bring them here. Because I'm getting sick and tired of hearing these cases. I just heard a case the other day of this mother. They found she had a 4-year-old. She had 2 sons, a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. And I think this was in Louisiana. And she unalived the 4-year-old. And they found, thank God, found the 1-year-old alive. A truck driver found a 1-year-old alive. Unfortunately, it was a young black lady. These mothers are cracking under pressure. Because this generation of single parents is not as strong as baby Gen Xers, us Gen Xers and baby boomers. These newer generations of mothers, they're not as strong. They're not as strong as we were. You know, they're a lot weaker. You know, they're not as strong. Of course, the economy is a lot more. The economy and everything is a lot more. It's a lot more harder to survive now. It's a lot more harder for single mothers to survive now, and it's more pressure. You know, it's a lot more. The resources are more limited, and the cost of living and food and everything is so high. It puts a lot of pressure on families, particularly single parent families. So it's harder. It is. I have to say that it is a lot harder. It's a lot more difficult for single mothers now. And so, but instead of people giving single mothers support, and sometimes that support can come in a prayer. It doesn't have to mean that you're physically or financially giving them support, but sometimes just a simple prayer, just simply praying for the single mother, that's support, you know. But instead of people praying for single mothers and offering them some type of support, they want to sit and bash and judge all the time. So why in the world would you want to shame a black woman that doesn't have children, whether she's childless or child-free? Why in the world would you want to shame her for not having kids? When all we do in the black community is bash single mothers. And that's the reason why a lot of them don't want to have children, because they don't want to become single mothers. They don't want to take the chance of becoming a single mother. You know, if you get married, there's no guarantee you're going to stay married, or if something happens to your spouse, you wind up being, by chance they may wind up being a single mother. Child-free women don't want to take that chance. They don't want to take that chance. They just don't want to bring children here. And I respect that. I really respect that. And people need to leave child-free women alone. Leave child-free women alone. Leave them childless and child-free. Leave them both alone. Leave them alone. Black women in particular, because there is a huge stigma associated with being a single mother. And people know it is. So it's like that just I had to say something about that because that just irritates me. But anyway, let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are on that. People just need to stop. People just need this. There's lots of black women out here that don't have any children, and people just need to leave them alone. Stop asking them why they don't have kids, why they don't want them, and all that kind of crap. That's just, stop it. Just stop. Just leave them alone. So hit that like, subscribe, and share. Until the next video, you guys be blessed.